But I saw the move this weekend, and I thought, it works. What he brings, passion, minutes, effort, the Energizer Bunny of the league, it actually works with old LeBron, question mark AD. I look at this roster, and I'm like, he's a playmaker. He's been in a lot of playoff series. LeBron likes him and trusts him. And I'm like, I actually get it. It actually makes sense. Your takeaway on the Westbrook Lakers move.
Wow.
I know.
That makes me think you got a late night text or call from Rich Paul or something like that. No, but look, I'm not in love with it. I've said that I'm not in love with it. The pieces don't fit, but I will give them a puncher's chance and then some for several reasons. One, the talent on the top of the roster is ridiculous, right? AD, LeBron, and Westbrook. You're talking about three superstars, three icons, and Hall of Famers in the future. LeBron is one of the smartest players we've ever seen, so I think he maybe can figure this out. Westbrook, to your point, does take the physical toll, some of it, off of LeBron and AD during the regular season, right? They won't have to carry as much of a load and a burden, so maybe that helps them be healthy in the playoffs. And the West doesn't have a juggernaut, right? The Clippers, I don't think Kawhi is going to be back the rest of next season. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'll come back in April or whatever. But I'd be surprised if we see him play next year. So the Clippers aren't going to be that great. Golden State, okay, yeah, they'll be better. Golden State, Phoenix, Denver, Utah, they're good, right? They're contenders. None of them scare you. All right, Portland obviously doesn't. I do think Dallas will take a step up with Luka, but, you know, they're not frightening anybody. So with that being the case, I think the Lakers have, you know, a chance in the West. I still like Brooklyn better overall, but the Lakers, Colin, the challenge is that their three top players can't shoot that well. LeBron's a good shooter. He's not a great shooter. He's good, and he's streaky. AD is not a very good shooter from three, 30% for his career. Westbrook, we know, can't shoot, 31%, 30% for his career, something like that. So what I like, Colin, I know they talked about, I'll go to power forward, says LeBron. I'll go to center, says AD. I think LeBron should be the point guard.
Yeah.
I think LeBron should look at this like I'm Magic Johnson, right? I'm the third option. I'm going to make sure AD gets his, Russ gets his. Russ can push it in transition. Russ can push it when I'm on the bench. But when we're all on the floor, LeBron should be the primary decision maker in the half court. He's going to get 20 points just by being on the floor.
Right.
That's how good he is. Though he has to set up the other two guys, and of course, they better put shooting around those three.
Yeah, and there are rumors they are going to add some shooting pieces. So this is fascinating. The Clippers without Kawhi in 2 years are 19-16. They beat the Utah Jazz, the #1 seed, without Kawhi. They've got an excellent coach. They've got a very good roster, a smart front office. But it's fascinating to me they're being held hostage by Kawhi Leonard. So they're going to pay him $36 million this year to not play. And I don't think he'll play this year. He's a guy that, I mean, listen, we know he's not playing to the All-Star break, and we know what happened in San Antonio when he had a real injury. They're paying him $36 million to not play, but to just keep him happy for the right after next year to sign him to a contract. And I look at that and I think, okay, timeout. He's nonverbal. I mean, good God, we just found out yesterday he had a torn ACL. Everything's a mystery. He shouldn't wear a number. He should wear a question mark. He doesn't communicate. You never know his health. Is he going to play? And I look at and I think, Clippers, this is a good franchise now. This is not an embarrassment. It feels, I'll be honest, Chris, it feels desperate. I don't know if I would pay somebody $36 million for the right to negotiate a long-term deal. I mean, I don't know. I know Kawhi's great, but, man, I've watched it for 2 years. He does not build chemistry, and he's played 48% of the – if he misses next year, Chris, he will have played 48% of the games in 3 years. I can't pay you $36 million not to play.
I hear you, and you didn't even throw in really the physical component. You talked about, you know, he doesn't bring the verbal leadership and things like that. Also, he's an old 29.
Yes.
Right? I mean, he's already was load managing at what? I don't know, 27, 26, 27 years old. And I was told, even in San Antonio, early in his career, he did not want to get on the court unless he was 100%. He's just that overly cautious type of guy with his body. So that's why I'm with you. I don't think he's playing this year at all. And if you're him, why would you even risk coming back in April or May and looking pretty good?
Yeah.
Right? Not looking like the real Kawhi Leonard when you're expecting to get this deal. So all of that said, Colin, and I said, I'd be leery because we saw Amari Stoudemire, and I don't have to go into Penny Hardaway and all these other greats, Derrick Rose, where injuries derailed their career. All that said, I think I'd sign him. And the thing is, I think most teams in the league, if not all, would sign him. And I think, Colin, what Kawhi's going to do is he's going to do a 1-and-1. He's going to do probably a 2-year deal with a player option for the second year so he can get his money this year. And like you said, he won't play. And then he can, I think he'll go ahead and say, give me the 5 years, $235 million.
Oh.
That's on top of this year, $36 million. So he can lock it up for 6 years. Now, maybe he'll sign a 4-year, $176 million deal. But if you look at the numbers, right, it makes sense to do what I just said. 36 this year, 5 years, 235 next, after next summer. And I think Steve Ballmer will do it because, Colin, I got to say this. Look at the Clippers without Kawhi. Let's look at them next year. Without Kawhi, they're going to struggle to make the playoffs because I don't know that they'll be able to bring back Reggie Jackson. And, that Paul George played well. We saw him win, some games in the postseason without Kawhi. But I think over the course of 82 games, it's going to be tough on them. And so I think they'll do it to be relevant and to have a shot to win a championship. We know he's got deep pockets, Steve Ballmer. And this has been a franchise that's been irrelevant for so long. They're so hungry and desperate, to use your words, that I think they'll do it.
Oh, my gosh. And by the way, pay him $36 million.
They could regret it, right? Halfway through that next deal. You made the last 2-3 years of that deal may be a disaster. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he'll stay healthy, but it's risky for sure.
Well, and also, I like people who communicate. That's the key to relationships. And when you're in a relationship with Kawhi, you're just not getting that. Finally, Dame Lillard we predicted on this show, he would say the trade rumors are mostly outrageous, but keep the door open because he doesn't want to take the glimmer, the glamour off the Olympic moment. Like he just wants to live in this moment. He doesn't want to take it away from the team. So he said, no, let's not talk about that. But there's real belief that Portland is trapped in NBA quicksand. They're about the 12th best team in the league, and they didn't have any draft picks. Your gut feeling on what Dame does when the Olympics end? Demand a trade or stay put?
I think, Colin, what he'll do is I think he'll give Chauncey Billups one season. I think they'll be able to convince him. Look, like I said, there's no juggernaut in the West. They can say, hey, we're close to Denver. We beat them a few years ago. We played them tough this year. I know they didn't have Jamal Murray, but still. I think they'll try to convince him to go 1 year, give it 1 year in Portland. Maybe Chauncey can turn that defense around. That's really been their problem. Offensively, they've been able to score. Nurkic is 1 more year there. So I think he'll give it 1 more year. If they don't go deeper in the playoffs, then I think next season is when he'll make his move. If I were him, Colin, I would go to them now and be like, look, work something out with Philadelphia.
That's right.
I don't think he loves the Philadelphia situation. But if I were in his shoes, I would say work it out with Philadelphia. He and Joel Embiid would be able to give, and you got Tobias Harris there still.
Yeah.
Do it around Ben Simmons. They could challenge Brooklyn. And so, look, Kevin Garnett, Colin, wanted